Oh, that music.
I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body.
Yeah, this is the...
The system was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying, "He did it!" I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. I tried.
I love it when you do that.
I like that. I like that. Keep going.
Then I went home. Plain and simple. Why was I needed to do this?
But yeah, the theme there is the questioning Allegro. The Allegro version plays basically when you really got him on the ropes. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination?
Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick.
Right. Yeah, is that you?
Why?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Influence.
Right. So, what seems suspicious?
Six.
Suspicious.
See.
2, 3.
Okay, hold
You're
on.
just hovering over it, like whispering stuff.
I went back to the trailer to... Wait.
Wait
She
a
didn't
minute,
have the script.
Salmonella!
She didn't have the script.
Salmonella.
Do you see
It was
what
in
I- do you
Studio
see why I
One.
say that?
Yeah.
I immediately noticed that.
Do we have the script that's
I don't think
No,
we
we
do.
don't.
No, just press her
But
on
just
it.
press
Yeah,
her.
press her on it.
Because the script wasn't there.
That's right. Hold it! The
And I
script and
did.
your direction notes?
I remember she did ask for it. Right?
Yeah, she did.
I
That's
did.
right.
Squeeb? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. That's really hard to say.
No, I guess not. Press
Press
harder.
harder.
Always press harder.
I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes?
Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything.
Why?
Why?
That's the script says. There was a murder after all.
But you didn't know it. She just double crossed herself.
Who could think of rehearsing after that?
Thank you, Journey.
Didn't know.
Yeah, I guess.
How did she know about the death though?
Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue.
Objection!
Oh.
Thank you.
Goodness.
Your Honor,
Music stop.
I have an objection to the witness's last statement.
He noticed it.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but I have sharper eyes than you.
No,
Think!
continue.
Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One.
Just go with it.
Order! Mr. Edgeworth!
Yes.
What you have just said
This is the absolute
is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move.
I thought you
Or are you thinking of a career change in the defense?
Well, it's never too early. I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. However, I will stand by my statement, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation?
I can't believe Edgeworth's helping me.
I know, when it's not me, it's him.
I know, right?
So the prosecution is in the cahoots with the defense. I didn't read that last line. No matter. I think you misunderstood me.
I think they're more than just.
I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Please stop.
No.
They're lovers after all. We all know
Very
that.
well, witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. Okay, now what's the contradiction?
No,
here?
Hammer wasn't the one injured.
Say it.
Powers was.
Bob,
Yeah, I say
Right.
It was Will Powers!
Powers photo. Present that.
Yeah, the
Wait,
how do I-
Steel Samurai.
How do I do profiles on this?
You
No,
can't do
the
profile.
photo
No,
of
no,
Powers
the
walking in
po-
the
the
steel.
po-
That's right!
This one?
How?
All
Take
right.
that!
Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
Okay.
Nice job. Give me a better one. Thank you.
Okay. You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured.
I'm going to go deaf if you keep slamming those desks.
Well, you better prepare for a hearing aid. It was Will Powers!
What?
Oh.
Looks like someone didn't get the memo, Mr. Wright. Explain yourself.
Yes. Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo.
Purposely.
But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers.
Pretending?
One person was injured on the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think Mr. Hammer was the one who was injured?
I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right, you must have gotten it wrong.
I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known that Mr. Powers was the one that was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez,
You saw Hammer limping.
you saw Hammer limping.
Yes.
Got him now.
Actually,
Phoenix.
you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes.
Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured?
Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too.
No.
He was pretending to be Mr. Powers.
Thanks, Galen.
Ah!
And when was he doing this?
Well, it would have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume. And when he went to Studio 2, when he was murdered.
Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who was injured that morning.
Order! Order! I will have order!
Witness! Can
What
you refute
now?
this claim?
That sounded weird.
That was decisive.
That was really weird.
That's
That
a
was
better
perfect.
Alright, I
okay.
think breakdown is coming up.
Yeah, let's hear you speak on this one, producer.
Very well. I have a question for you.
What?
Why are the real killers always so persistent?
Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing.
She has a point.
That
No, she doesn't. He's
That
the
is a good-
last piece of evidence to her now.
Yes.
that's
A murder on the set 5 years ago, which he caused.
Judgy.
Yes, you would need a motive.
True.
Why would she kill the victim? If there was a reason, it's unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive?
You can always prove it.
Okay. I have proof, and I'll show it to you.
Well, actually, hold up, one case. Now I think about it.
I'll present to the court the evidence that we need.
The blackmail photo.
Blackmail.
That's the
Yeah.
closest thing we got.
Oh wait, you're right.
The 5-year-old photo. Because that's the dirt she has on her.
That's true.
Take that! This is my proof.
This is the photo from before?
This photo reveals the motive in the murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez?
I don't know.
No, it's like
It's like you're a car.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just
that's
think
my
like you're
opinion.
It's like you're the
it's like you're the band.
Basically, sound like you're pissed. Sound like you're pissed.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With Dee Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, the accident precipitated, thank you, Mr. Hammer's fall.
Thank you.
His fall from stardom.
His guilt weighed him down, no doubt.
And something.
However, you, Dee Vasquez, use Mr. Hammer.
I'm not even gonna correct you. Try.
You know what? I don't even care anymore. She's guilty. You made him work for petty change.
Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate.
Yes, undoubtedly, it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star.
One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, and yet you've only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed Miss Vasquez, not the other way around.
That makes no sense.
What motive does Miss Vasquez have?
Because?
Because.
You know what?
Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reasons to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never got rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine.
Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for the murder.
She had no
Oh, no.
motive. Hammer's the one who
She
got
has
after
no
her.
motive.
Why else would he dress up as the Steel Samurai?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To make it look like that Powers killed her.
Exactly.
She had no motive, Your Honor.
What's that now?
It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense.
What is this?
It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez.
What?
Yes, the music.
This is Steel Samurai.
I love the music.
What?
That's Edgeworth.
Oh, I just see my picture.
I know, I get that all the time.
That's why he did it when you were
Yeah.
supposed to help.
Your Honor! Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers while with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Wow, it all started with Jack Hammer.
Oh yeah.
Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer.
He really pounded himself at the ground.
Really?
Oh.
You really hit that point on the head.
Technically,
Oh, the morbid jokes.
technically
just
he
write
had a gut
themselves.
reaction to it.
It's almost
Guys are breaking Savannah!
It's beautiful.
Anyway, let's end this
Anyway.
trial today.
And for what purpose, you ask? To kill D. Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all those years.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh, baby.
She literally
That's
snapped.
actually relatively calm for an Ace Attorney breakdown.
She literally snapped.
That's the
I don't have it on
calmest
my face.
breakdown.
So, you did it, didn't you?
do it.
Whatever.
Robin.
She's calm.
She
Yes.
seems at peace.
I am guilty. It was me.
Oh god. There's blood everywhere! We're too late! Miss Vasquez! What happened here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Alright, I'm not gonna read it anymore.
That was you.
Oh, that's
Oh.
a flashback to that.
Manuel!
Manuel.
Well, I don't know.
Miss Vasquez, please try to remain calm.
No. How could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No, Manuel...
That was her
Manuel.
Don't touch him, Miss Vasquez.
No! Please don't die. Please.
Oh god.
Wow.
Damn.
She's much calmer when she's not smoking.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Wright.
Smoking does bad things to people.
Oh
I lose. Again.
yeah.
She's still holding it even though she broke it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She told him the remains.
No, I have another one in my pocket.
Mr. Edgeworth, where is Mrs. D. Vasquez?
You're just not gonna do
In the
it.
waiting lobby, Your Honor. As calm and collected as ever.
I see. Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
it appears you've brought yet another miracle.
Praise.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you for
I
kidding
think
me.
not, Your
Praise
Honor.
me.
Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found so is only natural, not a miracle.
Yes, you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty! Alright, that is all. This court is adjourned.
And now you take on macaroni for another month.
So the guy that
Oh.
so the guy that
Hammer.
Hammer accidentally killed was Vasquez's husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or lover.
Love
Which is
her.
why she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, thus she wanted
I-
to get revenge on him by making him miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
I'm just glad you're okay.
Yes, but it's sad. I know now that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Mrs. Vasquez, but to think that he tried to frame me for the whole thing, it makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright.
Huh?
You're the one who took his place.
Tell me, why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me?
You have evidence.
Do we?
Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because...
Any evidence showing the Steel Samurai?
Path to Glory,
that.
probably. Yeah.
It's because you were the Steel Samurai.
Because I was the Steel Samurai?
Mr. Hammer was a big star, once. But he was reduced to acting to a kid's show, and as a villain to boot. The kids love the Steel Samurai,
But they hate evil men.
and so he hated you.
I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him at any time.
Aww.
Thing is though, I would have done that like as a person, as me.
I would have too.
I think you're missing the point, though.
Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over.
So am I.
Congratulations, WP!
Oh. Thanks to you, I'll be able to do the
Dawn.
To
Done.
Dawn.
wow.
Down the Steel Samurai.
That's okay.
That's a weird.
It's okay.
Yeah. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more.
Hey, oh.
Yeah. I can't wait to get back into that. Oh god. No. I just went and it's like oh. I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume, man. Is something
Oh,
wrong?
he doesn't know.
Oh.
No, of course not.
That's right, he doesn't know about
Ah! Nick! Edgeworth!
Huh?
Oh.
Oh, fight!
Now,
As long as ever.
Fight!
say
Kiss,
something
kiss,
right.
Kiss.
I'm not good at small talk.
Kiss.
Huh? What?
that. Oh!
Maya whispering from the corner. Kiss!
Mia whispering from heaven.
Kiss!
Okay.
That was too bad, Edgeworth.
You don't waste any time gloating, do you?
No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Will Powers. Shut up.
Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers.
Liar.
Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years.
Meet again?
However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I'm saddled with unnecessary feelings.
Oh my god. This is like this is like
Unnecessary feelings?
Yes, unease and uncertainty.
Aren't those kind of unnecessary?
They only serve to get in my way.
that is like fan fiction heaven in that
Listen,
part.
Oh god. Their dialogue is hilarious out of context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's why I came here to tell you.
Oh.
Wow.
All
All of the edge.
yeah. I'm on the edge.
Okay, Sasuke.
Okay.
I'm on the okay. Mr. Wright, is this guy your friend?
What? Friends? As if. Rivals! Rivals! Right, Nick?
For now we are, I guess.
Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something?
You're missing a lot of
Come
things.
on, Nick, tell me. What's the deal with you
I
and
didn't know you were
Edgeworth?
coming back here.
Come on, yeah, Nick.
Alright.
Come on.
Okay.
And so, the curtain closes on another trial.
God damn it, Nick.
I caused quite a stir by revealing the accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kid shows again.
Yay.
Wow.
They actually went with it.
Nick, this is it. The new show starts today. You're gonna watch with me, right?
I'll admit, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it.
You have to buy trading cards too, okay?
Well,
We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Look at
Fine,
she has a name.
fine, I'll do it.
I just
Isn't it
forgotten.
Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again?
Oh.
I wonder if they'll show his real face this time.
I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers.
Probably not.
Especially with a show like this.
I doubt that's gonna be.
Alright,
what Powers in the
so
lead.
finally, that was case 3. Final thoughts on case 3?
Alright, how do we want to go down on
Let's
this?
just go down the line.
Yeah, so Hammy?
Okay, when I first played this, it really took me for a turn. This is actually one of my favorite cases. Not just because I love the music for the Steel Samurai, but because I love the twists and turns. I fell over when I was playing this, and I loved it.
don't you mean? I'm kidding.
No. I did not keel over, but no, I literally fell out of my chair when I was playing this.
Let's just assume that nothing we speak is a pun about falling onto the garden.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I really like this case.
Alright, when I first played this, like maybe a year or so ago, it didn't click with me at first because we came right out of Turnabout Sisters, and I don't know, this one actually had a little bit of trouble with investigation, but replaying this one now, oh man, this story was good. And I love the Steel Samurai. Like, he's so
Definitely.
memorable, especially because he keeps coming back throughout the series, and oh man, this case is great. Austin?
I liked it. That's all I really
You
gotta
did?
say.
That's
I
it?
liked it.
Jose, specifics
Okay.
or
No?
No?
Jacob?
I would have to say I like this case better than case 2 because the
Really?
story was like very good, in my opinion.
I think that's actually very respectable.
Well, to be quite
Yeah.
like
honest,
how in comparison to case 2 to case 3, why do you think case 3 is better?
I think case 3 was like fun to watch and read.
Yeah.
As opposed
To
to
be
this
honest,
was
was also
also
Wait, also try to say something.
well, just to be honest, the one thing that really stuck out was to me was how calm Vasquez was at the end.
Oh
Yeah.
I liked
That
how
threw me off.
She's probably the most calm breakdown
Oh, yeah.
in Ace Attorney
She
for
just
a long.
But
she just
also-
snaps her thing and then she's calm again.
I like how down to earth and at peace she was after
Yeah.
the reveal
You
happened.
just
Yeah.
came to terms with it.
She came to terms with it because it was self-defense. Like she, there's
Yeah.
no more guilt. Like she admitted
That's
everything, and
true.
she's going to pay for her crimes, but she's accepting of that.
Well, I mean, technically,
And
in
you
a
don't
real
see it
court,
that
the
often.
self-defense.
And it was
Self-defense.
self-defense.
But that would have made her not guilty.
Yeah.
But then again, all the other shit that she did.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's literally
That-
tried to kill
Mafia.
Phoenix and Maya.
Well, that and like the crime from 5 years ago and putting the dirt on
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hammer with blackmail. Blackmail's
That
a
is
serious crime.
inhibition
Yeah.
of
Remember,
justice.
she
And
was
then-
also getting
and then
revenge for
Gumshoe's
her.
heroic
But at the same time,
Yeah,
that's not
it was.
justified.
And also, this one is a little bit more down to earth than I'd say Turnabout Sisters, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, and
I
plus,
guess-
it's like a Hollywood scene. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Kayla?
Kaylin?
There are a lot of things I like the most.
I could tell you
about
like that
this case.
Edgeworth scene.
There are actually 3 main elements that I think make this case in particular stand out in this game, notwithstanding case 4. I thought the characters that get introduced as semi-long standing here are fantastic. Their reappearances aren't only memorable, but they always make sense in a way, both here and later down the line with how they coincide with the story and eventually how they change, even within the one case they might be in. I thought that I would easily remember all of these characters again, maybe a year or so from now if I was watching these videos.
That's right.
The second thing that I really liked is how the court cases were handled. I felt like the addition of having to testify with a child or having to work around certain constraints with certain witnesses was something that we didn't see in the series up to that point for the last 2 cases, and it was more fun to work around just because it was more interesting. You had constraints now.
Right.
You couldn't just ask anything to a kid.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I actually did research on that to see if it was justifiable, and it actually is. So long as you're not too harsh on the child, and so long as you use sensitive words.
Yeah, child
Yeah.
court exists and they
can't-
use puppets to help the witness.
Especially in murder cases.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have children testify.
Yeah. And
Especially
then
if it was like a
my
mom
final
killing a dad or a
point,
dad killing a mom.
I want to revisit D. Vasquez's eventual breakdown, just for the point that I want to make that it was more of a redemption story for her.
Yeah.
I think in the very end of it. She
Right,
came
she
to
would-
terms with the fact that her husband's gone, and nothing she's gonna do to cover that up will ever change that fact.
She's
Yeah,
at
and
peace.
actually bringing up that's kind of interesting because Vasquez, they do kind of more of a villain kind of comes to terms with, what they do later on in the series, but they usually try and redeem them by the end. I think Vasquez is one of the few that like stay of the like, no, I have to live with it.
Yeah.
This kind of thing, which is kind of interesting.
And talking about this now, this really adds a lot of
Yeah.
depth to Vasquez that I've never noticed before.
Mhm.
It does.
So I think that honestly adds to her as a
accident
character so much.
5 years ago with her husband dying.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Anything else, Caitlin?
No, that's all.
All right. So,
Uh,
Ryan?
Someone else?
Ryan?
Ryan?
Someone else?
I liked how intricate the story was in general. There's like so many twists and turns that happened so many times. It changed the main villain so many times that like.
Welcome to Ace
suspected-
Attorney.
It's gonna happen a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like
Especially in the next
the
series.
same piece of evidence was used like several times to prove a different point each time, and I just thought that was really interesting. Just it's so intricate. Like the script writing for this was really good.
It's interesting you bring that up really fast because you'll have some cases later where you have almost like 4 pages of evidence and you use only like maybe 1 page. This only has 1 page of evidence the entire time and you use each individually. I didn't really think about that until you brought that up.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, continue on. I know I'm interrupting, but people are bringing up
No,
points.
that's a good
It's
point.
interesting because Ace Attorney does. It's interesting having other people play the games because you see so many different perspectives and you get to think about things a lot more.
I was talking about this with Pat earlier. I know I keep interrupting,
Okay.
but that's the thing.
That's
It's
the point.
discussion.
Yeah.
But Ace Attorney has 2 main elements that make everything about the game open to opinion, and everything is subjective. 1, characters. Everyone has a different opinion on characters. Sure, you do have to know the facts, but everyone can relate to a certain character in some way more than others, so opinions on characters can be different from others. The same can be said about like the story and reusing certain elements and whatnot. I think we were talking about this with Spirit of Justice earlier. We're not going to go into detail about that. Pat, you can probably explain that a little better than I can.
What part in particular?
Like pretty much how everything is a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean, it just depends on like different plot points and stuff like that. I guess I'm not quite seeing eye on what you're talking about in particular, but everybody interprets a case differently.
It's all interpretation.
And it's just,
I think that was the word I was looking
yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah,
Ryan.
so also I loved how Edgeworth helped Phoenix at the end, because if that didn't happen, it would have just been shut down right there, and that was really satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have been.
That was amusing to see.
Edgeworth does. I solely think this is Edgeworth's game through and through.
Yeah.
This Phoenix Wright in particular, we'll see that especially with
This scene in particular shows that Edgeworth like has he's not like the big guy who's out
He
to
has
go
a-
after Phoenix. Like,
Well, it's interesting because especially that first case, he was on Phoenix like a hawk the entire time, and now
Just like,
we're suddenly seeing that other side.
exactly, and I like that you see it the case after the previous one.
Yeah.
Anyway, any
And
other
also
thoughts, Ryan?
Vasquez's character, I just really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Especially that end. but-
Especially the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I loved seeing her at the end.
Savannah?
I don't know. I thought this was a fun case too, especially like, I thought like the main parts that stuck out to me was when Gumshoe did his little entrance to save Phoenix. and-
You're such a pro!
Oh, yeah.
Gumshoe was just such a big teddy bear, and she's like, "Oh, I want to hug him."
Same with willpower.
He went against the mafia.
He did.
Yeah, that takes balls. Okay.
He held up the Yakuza.
Yeah, really. I bet you 10-1 that was Yakuza in the original game
Yeah,
too.
probably.
Starfish?
I was
Do you have
Oh, do you have
anything
any-
more?
Do you have any
saying,
more?
like, there's 2 points that like it was that, and also another point that stuck out to me was when Edgeworth also helped
Yeah.
out too.
It's one of Edgeworth's best moments in the entire series.
I have to agree.
think so.
I felt so proud.
I loved that.
Can
I
I-
was hoping to think of a
okay.
question, but I didn't.
I did it.
But I-
And I love the music. Like,
And then a second objection, it picks back up.
I don't have an objection.
well, it's funny because that's what Phoenix does on a daily basis, and that's like the one time Edgeworth does that.
Okay, Patrick.
Stop it.
First of all, I now understand why Tyler wanted me to play Will Powers.
like on the last minute.
Yeah. Because after playing Will Powers in this case, I can actually relate to him. I can relate to him really well. He's always he wants to help people. He always wants to be nice, you know?
He's always thinking about the people he's entertaining,
Exactly. That
which is so respectable.
Especially in
Especially
in Hollywood.
Especially in my line of work as a YouTuber, you definitely think about that.
No, right,
you
but
know.
because
But also, it's a kids show too.
yeah.
True.
He's
And
thinking
you
about a
think
younger
of
audience.
like how maybe like the people on like Power Rangers or stuff like that, probably how they think maybe
Yeah.
about that kind of line of work
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, before I started doing this with you guys, I enjoyed watching YouTube, and to actually be a YouTuber myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just thank you guys, thank all of you guys for doing this.
I can totally agree with you on
Really,
that.
yeah, like, I think I speak for everyone when I say this is one of the most unique opportunities I've had in my entire life.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And we have one person to thank here, and this is
Yeah. All right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
continue on.
I agree. All of you guys make me just want me to be at my best,
Aw.
and I can't thank you guys enough.
I'm sorry that we're getting feelsies if you people don't like
It's
this.
Phoenix Wright. You should expect fails.
You need to know things.
Anyway,
Dana,
Starfish, wait,
Dana.
does Starfish have any more that he wants to bring up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you guys. No need to clap again, but yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Alright.
Dana.
I liked the main thing I like about this case is that there isn't like one specific character who's bad or one specific character who is like all good. Like a lot of the all of the characters basically are kind of more gray. Like Vasquez has her reasoning for things and she was defending herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jackhammer wasn't just only a victim. He had his own mistakes as well, like resorting to murder or trying to.
And if I may, there's
Sure.
also people like Oldbag who want to absolutely believe in people like Jackhammers.
Yeah.
So they will do anything to make that their truth.
And
Yeah.
even when her world was
Yeah, look at
shattered,
what
she wasn't
Cody
afraid
did.
to face that.
Yeah.
And Cody too.
Look at what Cody did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's actually a
couldn't
very
come to
big
terms.
theme actually
Yeah.
throughout this
He
case now I
couldn't-
think about it.
Everyone has their side and their truth. that
They want to
want
believe that truth
Yes.
fully until they have to come to accept it.
And Phoenix wants to believe in the truth.
Yeah.
But he also wants to believe in Will Powers'
He also wants to believe in his client
He
until
he
the end.
also sticks
Well,
to his gut and believes in his client.
Yeah.
Which paid off. Anything else, Dana?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
And
You know, when I first played this game, I think it was my sophomore year in high school. I played the original Ace Attorney.
Hey, same.
I didn't think much
You guys are
about this
twinsies.
case at first. Replaying it, I definitely enjoy it a lot more. I think why I didn't like it at first was I think the navigation in this case, especially your first time, is a bit of a mess.
First time navigation was a mess, and even during the LP we had a few sticky
Yeah,
moments, but replaying it was
But, you know, I do like the mystery in here. I enjoy every character. Like, Salmonella is probably, like, the one that kind of maybe borderlines that, but Salmonella really doesn't get much character development. I really kind
I
of
don't think he was supposed to.
Yeah,
I think
but-
he was meant to be a total
Yeah, but,
stereotype.
And then there's also Penny.
But, you
Oh,
know, well, she gets somewhat of character development in
Yeah.
a way, but, pretty much, you could easily argue this case is filler, and I won't deny you, but I think also you need this case because it's necessary character development time. You need a case where Nick is doing just normal lawyer stuff, especially with this being the first case, when, you know, he doesn't have random BS happening on trial, random people close to him that's going on trial.
Yeah.
This is also the first case that Maya is actually involved in the investigation.
That's
The
true.
last
That's
one,
true.
she's mostly in the detention center, and you don't get the chance to actually be with her. This is the first time you're
This
with
is
her.
you
Yeah.
learn Maya. You
Yeah,
learn
you learn
Maya.
Maya.
And it's also, again, you
When
need
you-
a normal case
Your
for them
comments.
to
Yeah.
really understand how Nick, Maya, and Edgeworth kind of all operate
How things
right
are
in
supposed
there.
to
I
work.
mean, this isn't my favorite case in the game, but I definitely have a newfound respect for it. Not one of my favorites in the franchise, but still an enjoyable one to head
Yeah.
back to.
And talking about fillers, like you just said, it's filler, but it's great character development. It's normal. I think that's what's so important about fillers is they are, for lack of a better word, normal.
Yeah, like, especially the point Dana brought up of how, like, every character was interesting and had that shade of gray and stuff like that. I'll tell you right now, there are other cases that try and do something like this and don't do that well. There are some cases
Well,
where
cross that road.
we'll get to there soon
Oh,
enough.
boy.
But overall, I did really enjoy this case. I think I still lean a little bit more to Turnabout Sisters just because I think the stakes are higher.
The stakes
In
are
that case,
definitely
it feel a little bit
Yeah,
more
because
personal.
Phoenix Wright's
But
life is on the line.
but I definitely do give a lot of credit
Both
to this
his,
case as well.
Absolutely.
Clients are his
Anyway,
sister.
I think he
closing
already
thoughts.
deserves to be here.
Yeah.
Deserves
It deserves its
Oh, yeah.
spot.
Oh,
does.
this totally deserved to be in the first game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have just one small comment.
Sure.
Comment down below for how well you guys thought Kaylin's old bag was.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to give special mention to Savannah, because Vasquez,
Vasquez.
yes, I think it's
Special
better.
producer.
Guys, my fucking name right, for God's
Whatever.
sake.
I compliment you and I get insulted.
Welcome to my life.
But
Anyways.
yeah, I actually really liked you. Once she learned Nick knew the truth, like that point onward, I think
She just had to.
yeah,
Keep
it
going as
ramped
long
up
as she
big
could.
time.
Yeah.
Had to keep going
The
as long.
salt is here.
Kaylin has a self follow with him, but
Awesome.
any final comments about the case?
I think
One-
we hit it.
Pretty
I
well
think
done.
we did actually.
One more thing I also want
We
to point out.
jackhammered it.
Write in the comments a counter for how many dead jokes we had.
Please.
Yes.
Can you guys do that for
But,
the
I guess-
series, please?
I guess since Starfish actually commented this on the end of Turnabout Sisters, write down in the comments what you guys think of the case down
Yes,
below.
that
Let's
too.
keep the discussion going
Please
because
do.
Yeah.
honestly, Ace Attorney is one of the best games to talk about when you're talking about spoilers.
Of course.
Because otherwise, it has to be, hey, this lawyer.
Believe
this
me,
lawyer
it's so hard to
thinks.
hold it in.
Yeah. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for Turnabout Samurai.
Woo!
Yes.
All right.
I love this case. So
So-
I had so much fun.
So next time on December 23rd.
No,
28.
Christmas Eve.
24th.
That's
What? That's awesome!
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's
On
going
Christmas Eve,
Yep.
we will begin Turnabout Goodbyes.
We're your
See ya
Christmas
then.
present, guys!
See you then.